OP's manipulative fiancé has an affair kind of long. I'm at work right now, just mulling things over. I feel oddly calm, and I'm surprised at myself. I have been suspicious for a long time, but I have never had any real evidence and have always just brushed off my feelings as insecurities, as I've been cheated on before. My fiancé and I have an outstanding relationship. I have never been happier in my life. We almost never fight. We spend every available moment together. We have lived together for 2 years and adopted 2 dogs together. We still talk and laugh every single day like schoolchildren. Our fights are very small things that I think happen to everyone who moves in together: dishes, laundry, splitting chores evenly, etc. We talk through all our problems. We have great sex constantly. So what the F went wrong? Since the beginning of our relationship, my fiancé has always been protective of his phone. It isn't much of an exaggeration to say that I don't even think I know what his phone looks like. I couldn't tell you confidently what brand it is or what color it is. He would never answer texts or calls in my presence, and always stated that it's simply because he's trying to be respectful and doesn't want to be one of those couples who are sucked into their phones instead of enjoying each other's company. I understood and accepted this until we moved in together, and he still would hardly ever use his phone around me, and when he did, he would turn it the other way so that I couldn't see the screen. He always claimed he wasn't doing this, however, and still said he's just trying to be respectful, but that he'll try to be better about it. There have been a few times where I have walked into the room from behind him while he's been on his phone, and I could swear I saw him very quickly switching apps before putting his phone down or away. He's always denied this as well. He never tells me who he's talking to or says it's his parents or best friend, who both live in his home country, so I have no one to ask to confirm who he's talking to. He's always super supportive and reassuring, and he tells me that it's just him being weird and quirky, but he promises that he's not being inappropriate. Contrary to all of this, I am very open with my phone. I always feel comfortable showing him what I'm watching or who I'm texting. I will hand him my phone to Google something for me or do whatever the hell. I try to respect his privacy because I definitely feel that it is important. But at the same time, I have always felt that he was being a little sketchy. I have never been one to snoop either, so that never occurred to me, and I've just accepted that my fiancé just really values his privacy. And I need to accept that because he has given me no reason to distrust him. Until yesterday. I don't know what came over me. I'm telling you, it was like I was possessed. It was an urge like nothing I've ever felt before. Nothing happened. Nothing was different. It was a normal day, a day off for both of us, cuddling on the couch and watching TV. I don't know why I did it. But he went to take a shower and left his phone on the table, and I did it. I snatched it right up, guessed his passcode, and went through every single thing: text messages, call logs, emails, photo albums, even his notepad. And I found it. I found everything. A full-blown effing affair that's been going on as far back as I looked, which was September. Nothing was hidden. He's been effing her at her house, all over our house, in our car, in her car, and at her parents' house. Yeah, he met her family. They love him, apparently. That's sweet. He effed her in the brand new bed I bought for our new house before we even effed in it. And he also joked about christening our new house with her. It's mostly been happening while I've been at work. He tells her he loves her, that he's never been happier with anyone else, that he wants to marry her and have babies with her, and the whole 9 effing yards. And yes, she knows about me. They spend quite a bit of time talking about how boring, fat, and ugly I am, how tired he is of dragging along through life with me, and how much better she is than me. How's he going to get out of this hellhole with me and take both of our dogs and ride off into the sunset with her? She also sounds surprisingly and hilariously insecure for being the woman who's been effing my fiancé in my bed for God knows how long. Inhales deeply. Projection. I hope my fiancé is as good at reassuring her as he was at reassuring me. Effing unalive me. I put his phone down and quietly waited. When he came out and greeted me with his usual, "Hi babe," I suddenly felt like I had swallowed an entire bucket of DCKS and didn't know what to say, so I didn't say anything. I was ready to scream and shout and confront and point fingers and cry, maybe break some SHT. But when he came out, I didn't do anything. He plopped on the couch next to me and just asked me if I was ready to continue our show, and we just went about the rest of our day. I haven't slept since. I projectile vomited last night because I realized that the spot on the sheets a couple weeks ago that he told me was one of our dogs uncharacteristically pissing the bed might be. Jesus effing Christ. He hasn't even noticed that something is up, and I can't even believe that I've hidden it so well. I haven't even cried yet. I'm just so shocked, and I'm not sure how to go about this. I honestly want to just start moving out. I don't know if I want to say anything yet. It'll take a while because of the money and stuff, but I don't know. I just don't know. Update. I called my landlord today. She was super happy to hear from me. We have a good relationship. I'm currently living in my second rental of hers, and I ended up breaking down and telling her everything that was going on. She immediately told me to swing by. I texted my fiancé and told him that I was working a little late, which isn't unusual. I sometimes get stuck working 16-hour shifts, life of an ER vet. Screaming internally. My landlord immediately started talking to me about other properties she has, but most of them won't be available until at least the summer. But if I could hold out that long, she would be able to get me into one and wouldn't make me pay extra to break my lease, fill out an application, or pay her immediately for a security deposit. This is so extremely helpful because most of my money goes towards bills, and I wouldn't have a lot of wiggle room to save up for the first month's rent, a security deposit, and the extra amount to break the lease. I agreed to her idea. Now, all I have to do is keep my composure and act my arse off for the next few months. And all of my savings will be going towards new furniture for my new place. When I got home, my fiancé was extremely concerned because he apparently tried calling me at work to ask me a question. And they told him I had left. God damn it. He asked me why I didn't respond to his texts or calls. I lied and told him that it must have been when I was running something over to the other clinic that I work at, which is not unusual for me to do. He believed me, but only after I confirmed that I was not cheating on him. He told me that his mind immediately thought the worst, and that I had lied and was off with someone else. And he asked me to please just let him know if I'm going somewhere unexpected so that he doesn't worry. I lost it. I laughed so hard. He laughed with me, obviously not realizing that I was not laughing for the same reason he was. He hugged me tight, kissed me, apologized for being insecure, and said that he knew I would never do something like that. I felt so numb. I don't know how I'm going to keep this up. Edit. I decided to make this edit to clarify that I don't intend on staying in the house. I only meant that I do not intend to reveal any of my intentions until I am secure in my new place. I have replied to many comments both here and on my original post that my plan is to either crash with friends or stay in a hotel once my exit plan is squared away, which will take at least a week or two to settle. I have been getting a surprising amount of hate and disapproval, questioning my mental state, and also lecturing me for being terrible with finances, which is not true. Thank you to everyone who has been supporting me. Update. Recovered via Undit. First of all, I wanted to say thank you to each and every single one of you who has commented and/or reached out to me to support me. I am so happy that I decided to post here. I followed the advice of a commenter and told my fiancé that I had been feeling ill, and that my doctor advised that we reassess my birth control situation and avoid intercourse for the time being. He was extremely supportive, made me soup when I got home, and coddled me all day. How sweet. Gag. The same night, while he was asleep, I ninja'd his phone again. It turns out that this affair has been going on for about 6 months. I found that he and the mistress are currently arguing about me, which was super weird to witness, considering that we don't even fight, and have definitely never fought as viciously as this before. She is currently begging him to leave me and be with her. I also discovered that she left her own partner months ago to be with mine, around the time that my fiancé told her that he wanted to run off with her with my dogs in tow, as I mentioned in my first post. Surprisingly or not at all, because he's obviously a total poss, my fiancé has just told her that he now doesn't want to leave me. He told her that he does still love me and doesn't want to hurt me, and he didn't mean what he said a few months ago, but that he was just caught up in the moment. His last text to her last night was that he feels like a huge piece of SHT and does not wish to further destroy our relationship. Yikes. Too bad that he has already made his bed, and soon she will be able to have everything she wants and lie in it with him. I felt a little sad for the other woman, but it dissipated quickly, however, after seeing how much venom she spit upon my mere existence. She goes through his phone constantly and starts fighting with him over how nice he is to me and how much better he apparently treats me than he does her. I swear, if you didn't know any of us and only read our messages, you would think that she is the betrayed partner who is trying to convince him to stop having an affair with me. It is absurd. Why be so committed to a trash can of a man who is not only cheating on his fiancée with you, but also, by your own words, doesn't even treat you well? Ugh, I digress. I took screenshots of like everything. I was originally only going to take a few, but I ended up pretty much taking their entire message thread because I feel like everything ended up being juicy. There were some emails that I took as well, and also some pictures, not naked pics, although I did unfortunately see those of them together with the date and timestamp, many of them having been taken while I was at conferences out of town when he said he was just hanging out at home. I also noted her phone number and email address. I will likely never reach out to her, but just in case, now that that's out of the way. Today, I received some amazing news. My landlord called and told me that one of her tenants has decided not to renew their lease and will be moving out. The house is kind of a mess, but I can move in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Originally, it was 3 months. Now I am literally scrambling to schedule my movers in time. I am shrieking with joy. I told her I didn't care. It could be a closet filled with 30 knife-wielding mutated rats suffering from explosive diarrhea. Please just let me have it. I will pay for that dangerous SHT closet. I'm going in tomorrow to talk to her more about it and figure out the exact dates and the financial situation. She's going to let me just pay half of the deposit upon moving in and the other half later. My coworkers had also gotten back to me. Their landlord won't let them have another roommate, which we were kind of expecting, but they said that I could stay there for a couple nights anyway if I needed to. They, along with their boyfriends, will be coming with me on my moving day to help with my movers to make it as quick as possible. I have also decided that I am going to take my couch and my bed, and we are going to burn the sheets and blankets in my new backyard at my housewarming-free last party. My ex will return home one day with nowhere to sit or sleep, and without my help with finances, it may be some time before he can replace the furniture. It's already almost over. I still might bail, make some excuse, and stay in a hotel for the next few weeks, just because I want to be out so badly. But it's almost over. I can almost taste it. Scheduling the movers made it feel so real, and I felt as though I had breathed my first breath in a week. I didn't realize how trapped I had felt, but I just kept making all these plans and coming up with solutions that led to me running into problem after problem. But now it's almost over. I will update again when I'm out completely. I have a weird feeling that this is going to blow up in my face, somehow, because it has seemed too easy, and I feel too good despite what's happening to me. But I'm just being negative and anxious as usual. Thank you everybody for sticking by me, and especially all of you who have been here since this started. I really appreciate you. See. Update. This past weekend my ex confessed. I put this in quotations because it was a large Dutch oven full of steaming horse SHT. I came home from work one morning, and he was waiting for me, which is odd because he's usually asleep. He said that we needed to talk. We sat down together, and he told me his tall tale. That a woman he had met, his mistress at his coworker's wedding, had been contacting him on and off for a few months after receiving his number from a mutual friend, and kept asking to meet because she found him attractive and wanted to get to know him better. He had never responded to her flirtatious messages or requests to meet up, but would sometimes chat with her. Recently, he told her that he was flattered, but was happily engaged, and asked her to stop contacting him, because he didn't think they could be friends since she kept pursuing him, and was getting more and more insistent. He stated that this woman then became angry and began threatening him and insulting him, like some typical nice girl SHT or whatever, telling him that he led her on. He apologized for never telling me, but he didn't think it was important because he had either ignored her or things were pretty innocent. But he decided to tell me now because of her shocking reaction when he asked her to stop. He promised me that that was all that happened and offered to show me the messages if I wanted to see them. I was quiet for a few minutes. He looked extremely worried and begged me to say something. My mind was racing, and my heart was beating out of my chest. After every sentence he spoke, in my head I was saying, lie, lie, another lie, pretty good lie, but still a lie, lie. Wow, the truth? Nope, just kidding, lie. I wanted to confront him, tell him what I knew, point in his face, show him the screenshots I took, and scream at him. But again, I didn't do any of those things. Instead, I said that I was really disappointed and hurt that he kept this information from me. But I told him that I trusted him and did not need to see his phone. I asked him to please just continue to be honest with me from now on. My ex held me tightly, apologized many more times, promised to make it up to me, and continued to reassure me that he was being honest. He said he loved me, wanted to be with me forever, and would never hurt me. I was his dream girl, and he couldn't possibly be happier with me. I asked him if he was sure he had nothing else to tell me. He looked me in the eyes and said he didn't. He promised. I asked if he ever met up with her, platonically or otherwise. He said he only spoke with her and hung out with her briefly among others at the wedding. He was a groomsman, and she was a bridesmaid. I was at a conference. He also confessed that when he was worried that I had cheated on him a couple of weeks ago, he got extremely scared because it made him rack his brain trying to think of whether he had done something that would make me angry or cause me to stray, and that while he feels silly about it now for thinking that I had cheated, it had put the fear of God in him, for lack of a better phrase. He then felt super guilty and decided to come clean, because even though I'm not cheating, he was so worried that he wants to make sure there is a clean slate. I wanted to vomit. I wanted to take a boiling hot shower, melt my skin off, and then swim in a pool of lemon juice. I could not believe the balls on this slimy worm of a man. Either he ended things with the mistress and is expecting blowback and trying to cover for it now in case she reaches out to me, or she dumped him and he's trying to crawl back to me. Or maybe he's still seeing her. I don't know. Not my problem anymore. I completely shut down. I was cold and distant. He noticed. He apologized to me every day, asking me if I was still mad. He offered many times to show me the messages to assure me that nothing else happened. He asked me if there was anything he could do to make me happy again. He told me he knew he deserved it for not coming forward sooner. But he promised he wasn't lying about anything. He was just being an idiot and didn't think it was important. But he sees now that it was, and he would be just as upset if the tables were turned. He cried a few times. I brushed him off and told him I would get over it. And he just needed to give me time. He agreed. And then the day finally came, and I left. I moved into my new house yesterday. It was pretty uneventful, and even kind of fun. After I got the text from my ex confirming that he made it to work safely. We do this every day. My friends and their boyfriends came by to meet the movers with me, and we had my entire house cleared within 45 minutes. We laughed and joked the entire time. They assured me that they would be my bodyguards if my ex showed up. I scanned the house a few times before I left, and felt very satisfied. The only things left are a dining table, a small TV, an entertainment center in our bedroom that he bought, and of course all of his personal things. Other than that, everything else is gone. The remaining items in the house are only enough to fit into the smallest bedroom in the 3-bedroom home. My landlord came by before I left, and we took pictures of everything together in case my ex tried to say I damaged anything. After much thought, I decided that I was not going to leave any of the screenshots that I took. However, I am still keeping them in case I need them. I wanted him to be reeling over what I may or may not know. I want him to relive the day he confessed, and I hope he feels absolutely horrified when he realizes that I knew the entire time. Instead, I printed an email he sent me a few months ago, which was a very long ranting read. Lie about how much he loved me, couldn't wait to marry me, have children with me, and buy our first house together, and how lucky he was to have such a loyal, devoted, and hard-working partner. He detailed how he would never do anything to jeopardize our relationship. He sent me this email 3 days before the text messages between his mistress about how boring, fat, and ugly I was, and how he couldn't wait to run away with her and start their perfect lives together. I put this email into an envelope and wrote his mistress's name on the front of it. I left it on the kitchen counter with my engagement ring and keys on top. I took one more look around and then shut the door on our home and this chapter of my life. When I got in my car, I cried for the first time since the day I first found the messages. I had to pull over, and my friends comforted me while I cried my eyes out, snot bubbling, snorting, lip quivering, put Kim to shame crying. My heart broke into a million pieces all at once. My friends petted my hair, held my hands, and cried with me too. They're so good to me, and I'm so thankful that I finally decided to stop being so antisocial and reach out to them. The best thing that has come out of this situation was bonding with these 2 women. I don't think they'll ever be able to get rid of me now. If you're reading this, J and A, I love you so much, and I'm so grateful. My new house is honestly incredible. My landlord made it sound like it was a wreck, but I should have known it wouldn't be too bad. She's kind of nitpicky. I didn't care for my old house too much. My ex loved it, and it suited us well, so it was okay, and I was happy with it. But my new house is very cute, with a bigger backyard for my dogs and a better layout. The neighborhood is really cute too. There are a few things that need to be fixed, but they're nothing major. I'm pretty much already settled in. I changed my number today. So far, it's been quiet. I hope it stays that way. Thank you again to everyone who has been here for me through this nightmare. Apparently my last post was removed for some reason, but since I hope this is the last time I have to post here, I am not going to bother asking for it to be restored or whatever. You all have been wonderful to me, and my heart is so full of your love and well wishes. I made it. Here's to starting over. See. Update. TW violence. Animal Oz. Pet unalive. Hi. First of all, I'm sorry that I haven't updated sooner. I very much appreciate the messages that I've gotten checking in on me. I'll say a few things, but police are involved now, and there are things I won't comment on. But I felt that I owed you all an update after all the support you gave me. My ex found out where I live. I had been trying to be as careful as I could be. I cashed in all my vacation time from work 3 weeks and mostly stayed home. But when I did go out, I didn't frequent my usual grocery stores, restaurants, or dog parks. I don't know how it happened. I have theories, but they sound crazy, and I'm just paranoid about everything. It had only been about 2.5 weeks since I moved into my new house. There were flowers and a letter on my doorstep. I didn't read the letter. I finally called my lawyer, told him everything, and handed over everything I had, including the video surveillance I had found of my ex casing my house. I had installed cameras in and around my home 2 days before the flowers and letter arrived. He had come in the middle of the night and tried all the doors and windows. I tried to file for a restraining order, but unfortunately, since he hadn't tried to harm me, it was thrown out. There wasn't anything else I could do in regards to that matter. I tried. No one would listen. It was quiet for a long time. I got really paranoid and started spending a lot of time at my friend's house, sometimes for long periods with my dogs in tow. I started to think maybe things were okay. Then one night, while I was walking up my driveway to the house, he caught up to me. I won't give any specific details about this part, but it was very violent. My house had been broken into before I arrived. Both of my dogs were attacked. They didn't make it. My neighbors called the police when they heard me screaming. Things are coming into place. It'll work out for me. There is a lot of evidence. I don't know if there was anything else I could have done. That's all I really have to say. I probably won't post again. Thank you for all your support.